I'm so excited today to report back from my second annual Craft and Commerce, which is ConvertKit's annual event. Now, they've been putting on this event for, I think, 6 or 7 years. So it's been happening for a while, but this is my second time in a row to attend. And it was so fun. Like, of all the conferences, I've said this multiple times on here, this is the one that, yes, it's a little bit pricier than some of the other conferences you can attend, but it is so worth it. So worth it. My mind was blown again. I have new ideas. I have new networks, like people that I've networked with, people that I've connected with, people that I'm going to be in partnership with. Like, I just find so much value in this. Plus, this year, I mean, of all the years to attend, I have some behind the scene footage for what's to come for ConvertKit, which will soon be Kit. Yes, they are rebranding. I got to watch Nathan Barry announce it live and he got so emotional, and it was just so touching and heartfelt to see how much this company, they just really have a passion to help creators like you, like me. And I just want to dive into all the wonderful things that I heard while I was there. So let's get right to it. Hello, everyone. Krystal here today. If you are just tuning in for the first time, I'm a podcast coach and content strategist. But while I was at Craft and Commerce, I actually rebranded myself, like who I am, because I was introducing myself saying like, I'm a podcast coach and a content strategist, you know, the thing that you do when you go to a conference. And I kept saying it over and over and over again. And then I was like, why don't I just introduce myself the way I really want to introduce myself? And when I did, ooh, people perked up, or they knew immediately what I was talking about. So from here on, I would like to introduce myself as your content therapist, helping you work on your relationship with your content. So if you're burned out, if you hate your show notes, if you don't know if you're doing the right thing with your podcast, or you're not sure you have the right strategy for your YouTube, or you are a burned out blogger, hi, I am here to help. And I am so excited about this new transition. And it, like I said, it unfolded when I was at Craft and Commerce and I was introducing myself. Like, I was getting bored introducing myself and what I do, but I was like, oh, I'm actually a podcast therapist. And people are like, ooh, tell me more. Like, what does that mean? And it's just a fun new transition. So that's like takeaway number one, is going out and putting yourself in these situations where I don't typically walk up to strangers and tell them like, hi, I'm a content coach, like, or anything like that. So it was really fun to keep practicing my elevator pitch and saying what I do and who I help. And it's a really fun exercise. If you haven't done it, I highly encourage it. But I want to go over, I actually created this humongous Google Doc. I mean, I'm going to jump down. It's 221 pages. So when I say it's a humongous Google Doc, but what it is I take a ton of screenshots whenever I am at a conference. So like if you scroll through my phone right now, you're just going to see days worth of screenshots. It was only 2 days. It was a 2-day conference, but I like to take notes on what someone's presenting. And I'm also like, I'm taking screenshots and I'm writing notes at the same time. And so last year, this is like the format I wish I would have had come prepared with. And I'm so grateful that I did. I even shared it out. So if you attended Craft and Commerce, you're like, oh, like I had so many people say, thank you so much, Krystal, for sending this template. But what it was is like, hey, this is like all the keynotes happening. Here's the main stage talks. Here's the workshops that we did. And here's like, right, 3 takeaways or people that you want to connect with after we're done at Craft and Commerce. And it was really cool to have this just like at my fingertips, because it's going to be so fantastic for what we have to share today. So I'm not going to go through like every single thing that I learned, because this episode would be like 7 hours, but I am going to give you some of the highest takeaways that I think will be super impactful. So I'm just going to jump down to main stage keynotes. So Jon Meese is somebody who I hadn't heard of before this conference, but it's funny because he called out, like, he is actually all over the ConvertKit website. So if you're a ConvertKit user today, you've probably seen his face. Like in some of the templates, there's like this one video. He talked about serving. And he actually has a book. Oh, hang on, this will be fun. So he has a book called Serve to Sell. And everyone that attended Craft and Commerce this year received a copy of his book. So that's super fun. It says exactly how to sell premium coaching or premium programs with one free coaching call. He had so many great takeaways, but at the end of the day, it was all about putting everything out there in a service mindset. Like, how can you serve people and not just, hi, you want to buy my thing? And that was one of the things that I learned going to Craft and Commerce last year. People, like the quality of people that were there, are not hungry and desperate for a sale. Like, I didn't meet people that were like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so. Want to buy my product? Want to sign up for my thing? Want to get on my email list? Want to, listen to my podcast? Go register for this webinar that I have? Like, no. That did not happen. And I think that Jon had the right approach in showing you how to serve to sell. It's getting that opportunity. And there were just so many great takeaways. So highly recommend Jon's book. Like, this is number one, like Serve to Sell. Do you see how it's not a huge book? Like, it's beautiful and it's very, very well done. So kudos to you, Jon. I'm excited to dive into it. But let's jump down to Jen Olmstead. Okay. So I should have shared this before, but I'm so excited. Maybe you've heard about it by the time this video comes out, but I got a new website. I won a giveaway that they were having after you register. And, it's like, hey, here's your registration details. By the way, Show It and Tonic, two different companies, are doing this giveaway where you could get a website makeover. And I was like, okay, like, I don't love my website. Like, it's okay. Like, it gets the job done. But I wonder if I could win this thing. And guess what I did? I won. I will have a new website. It will be unveiled very soon. But Jen Olmstead is one of the founders of Tonic. It's her and her partner, Jeff, who they were there. Jeff was so fantastic. I got to chat with him at their booth and I got to talk to Jen. These people are so incredible in what they do. They're both web designers and they create these beautiful templates. Maybe you've seen Amy Porterfield's website for 2 weeks notice, like where you order her book, or Jenna Kutcher's website, or Phil Mickelson, or Xayli Barclay. Like, all of these people are on Tonic. Like, that's where their websites are. And it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. But back to Jen's talk, because she took the main stage and her talk really impacted me. And again, I wish I could go through every single one of these in detail, but the thing that I want you to have as a takeaway is what she said. She said, don't be the best, be the only. And it hit me. Like, it hit me so hard. I'm like, oh, and this goes back to me introducing myself as a podcast coach and a content strategist, because that's what I've been thinking. I was like, I want to be the best podcast coach and I want to be the best content strategist. And then I was like, but I could be the only content therapist. I could be the only podcast therapist, like the one that is sitting down and marketing to you like, hey, I understand you may have a toxic relationship with your podcast. Come sit by me, grab a fluffy pillow, and let's have a conversation. And that's truly what happens behind the scenes with so many of my clients, so many of you that are, in Proffitt Podcasting, my digital course. It's like, we talk about the problems with your content, like the relationship with your content that you are working on. And that just it really hit me like right square in between the eyes. Don't be the best, be the only. And so that was my key takeaway from listening to Jen's talk. But then let's hop down to Nathan's. So Nathan Barry was the next keynote, and I'm going to have some really cool clips and pictures and everything that's up here that you can see in real time if you're watching on the video. But I loved how he was saying the difference between an audience, which is real value, and a crowd is someone that's wanting to chase views. So if you have a crowd, that's just people that are standing around. They may not know you from the next influencer, the next podcaster, the next person on YouTube, but they just found you. This is what I think about when something goes viral and you're like, oh, I don't even know who that person is, but now you're aware of them. You're part of the crowd watching their content unfold or watching whatever they're doing, wherever, they're in the limelight. But when it comes to an audience, you are connected, you are engaged, like you are subscribed to this YouTube channel or following the podcast, or you're on my newsletter, or you're just like, man, like what is Krystal doing next? Like that, if you have that curiosity, you're part of this audience, you're part of this community. And I loved how he was saying, like, let's position ourselves to build audiences and not just crowds of people that don't stick around and hang out with us. And I thought that was really impactful. And then one of the other things that, I mean, we've already kind of talked about it here, but ConvertKit is rebranding to just be Kit. And I'll show a few clips of like what this actually looks like from Nathan's talk, but it was so interesting to see this, like they are going to let the branding of their company unfold like in real time. And they're like, we're going to rebrand in public, and it may be scary, but it's going to be really cool. But the other really fun thing, and Nathan spoke, and I went to a workshop for really short, and then I was like, I'm going to go check these out because y'all, if you live in Boise, Idaho, or near Boise, or you can get to Boise sometime soon, ConvertKit just opened up, Kit just opened up Kit Podcast Studios in Boise, Idaho. This is in downtown Boise. It is gorgeous. I cannot wait for it. We're going to have a video of like my whole behind the scenes tour of what the studios look like, and my little stupid recording of myself, like, you know, being awkward with my microphone, dropping my camera, and doing all the things that I'm doing, trying to function in this beautiful space, but being a little overwhelmed with like, oh, this is real fancy in here. But I felt so professional. I was so excited. And if you are a ConvertKit or Kit user, you can check this out for free. So make sure that you are on their regular email list, because they are sending out information on how you can book the studios for yourself, and you can go and create content in downtown Boise in these fabulous studios. There's actually, I want to say there was 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 studios. So some that you could do for collaboration, some you could do for solo recording. And then Nathan Barry has his own podcast studio that's right across the hall from you. So I was watching him and Ali Abdal like do a podcast episode, and then him and Jon Youshaei, like I was just like watching this like Rolodex of people coming in, recording things. And I was like, this is really fancy. This is super cool. So shout out to the ConvertKit or Kit. I'm just going to keep saying both of them, I guess, until the rebrand officially happens. But congrats to the team, because the space is absolutely beautiful and I can't wait for you to see it. So let's move into the workshops from Craft and Commerce, because these were really cool. I attended one that was Monetization Made Simple by Clouse from Creator Science. If you have not checked out what he does, like I heard him speak on the main stage last year at Craft and Commerce, and I've been kind of connected to other people in the world of the online space who know him and have, you know, hung out with him, learned from him for a long time. And I was so impressed with his talk and how it was so simple, but it was like, oh, duh, this makes so much sense. So one of the things was he said, really, instead of just spattering different random products in your business, how can you take it from an unstructured, yeah, I'm going to promote this thing, then that thing, then that thing. How can you create what he called a product or an offer ladder? So you're moving people from one end of the spectrum to the other. Maybe it's like your low end offer up to your high end premium offers. And what can that look like? And it made me kind of rethink my own funnels of how I get people into the Proffitt media world. And maybe they're buying my $27 product or $37 product. And how do I get them moving along the journey to be interested in some of the more premium, like Proffitt podcasting, like it's a little bit higher ticket. And then how can I get people interested in just moving along the funnel and not just getting stuck in one place, but let's keep going and let's make this happen. So thank you so much, Jay, for opening my eyes to that, because it was really, really helpful. But let's move into the next one. So the next one was really fun. So it was the AI tools for social media and what that looks like. And it was with Tom. So shout out to Tom. He's on the ConvertKit social media team, and he runs like all the things that they're doing. And he used to be a teacher, and the way that he laid out this workshop, it was so helpful. Oh my gosh, it was so helpful. So what he did is like, hey, what's your learnings? Like, where do you sit in the AI spectrum of understanding, like, are you a novice? Are you a little bit more advanced? Are you, a pro? And I feel like I fall in that like mid-range of like, I'm more advanced than the beginner, but I'm not like the expert, right? I'm not the one talking about large language models and like all the different other pieces of AI. I'm just like, no, I know how to use it and I know how it works, but I'm trying to get better. That's where I fall. That's where I fall in the AI category. But one thing that I learned, okay, this is the biggest takeaway from this workshop, is he had some exercises that was like, okay, tell your AI to do this and then do that and then do that. But one thing, this is like for anybody that uses ChatGPT or any other like AI models, AI bots, where it allows you, like you're asking it a question, or maybe you're telling it to, here's the prompt that I use. It was, you are a branding and marketing expert, and I'm looking for engagement post for social media, specifically Instagram and YouTube. Tell me which questions I need to answer, but ask them one at a time and allow me to answer them before you ask me another one. That piece, it was that piece that blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, like the prompting. Yes, yes, yes. I don't want just a list of 25 questions I have to answer and then I have to go take time and, answer one at a time. Like that's exhausting. That one piece of ask me one question at a time. He actually helped me build out this voice guide, like a brand guide for Proffitt Media. But I also built out an entire content calendar of engagement posts that I could use on Instagram and YouTube. And it was mind blowing. So thank you so much again, Tom, for that. It was very, very helpful. And go check out Tom's content all about dads that work from home. Like he just launched his newsletter and all the things that he's doing. So go check it out. It'll be super helpful, whether you're a dad or you're a parent working from home. He has some really great tips. So go check him out. Okay, now let's move into the afternoon keynotes. I know, like we're already close to 20 minutes into this, and it's like, wait, we're still on day one. We're still on day one, and I'm trying to breeze through these because we had a lot of amazing takeaways. So Xayli Barclay, she was incredible. Like afterwards, I walked up to her and I was like, that was so moving. And I loved the confidence factor that she gave me. And I'm not someone that struggles a ton with confident or showing up behind the camera. Like this is something I try to teach you and help you. If you still struggle with this and what I'm giving you on confidence just isn't enough, please go follow her. She will give you the tools and the tips that you need to really show up confidently behind the camera. And she broke down some of the bigger influencers in our industry and what they do so well. And what she has realized is like, okay, what can I do to make this easier for me and be more efficient with it? So very helpful, very helpful. And one of the other things, I was looking at my other takeaways, it says post more on social media using the AI content I got from the workshop with Tom. Like this is one thing that I was sitting there, I was listening to what she was saying, and I was like, oh, I don't need to just file away these things that I'm learning. It's like, no, go back to the workshop that I just did on AI and use Xayli's, all of her tips, and Tom's, and all the workshop stuff. So that's actually what we're going to see changing here on Proffitt Media stuff for the Proffitt podcast and my YouTube channel. So stay tuned, but go follow Xayli because her stuff was incredible. It was so stinking good. Okay, then we have Chennell Basillio. So this was very interesting. So she has a brand where it's all about, she has looked to see what these professional creators that have done amazing things and found tons of success, like what have they done right? And she's studied them and dissect them. Like I'm talking about data analytics, like getting super, super into the weeds and what people do right and what they do wrong. And what she said was, what can change your business? This is the one thing, okay? The one thing that can change your business is making the ask. Oh, and that hit me so hard, y'all, because I am not someone that likes to ask people for help. Okay, that's me. I don't know if it's the Enneagram 3 in me. I don't know if it's because I'm a Capricorn. It could be all of the above, but asking for help is one of those things that I really struggle with. And her talk was make the ask. Like that's what so many of these people, they have made the ask, like ask to be introduced to that person that you know could help you take your business to the next level. Ask to be on the podcast that you are scared and you don't know if you're enough and you don't feel like you're expert enough. Like make that ask. That's all that you can do. Like the worst they can do is say no. What are you waiting for? Like this is the thing that I was telling myself while she was talking is, what are you waiting for? You need to make the ask. So if you are in my audience, I'm making the ask right now. Have you subscribed to my YouTube channel? Are you on my email list? Like this is me making the ask. Like let's take this relationship to the next level and be more engaged, be part of my audience, and let's really get connected into the community. So we'll have links in the show notes for us to get connected and take this relationship one step further because I am making the ask. And if you're one of my business besties, one of my business buddies, stay tuned. I have some asks coming your way that will be happening in the next few months that I'm really excited about. So make the ask, even if it's scary. All right, the next one. And this wraps up day one. Y'all, we're on day one. We're going to have to make this a two-parter because this is a lot of information. And I do not want to rush through this one because this one was so fascinating. So Jon Youshaei is someone that used to work at Instagram and he used to work at YouTube, and the stuff that he shared, like this blew my mind. And this was a little controversial to me simply because this is the thing that I have not wanted to do. I have not wanted to do exactly what he told me from stage because I've heard it. I've heard it time and time and time again from multiple YouTube experts, from all these strategists that say, this is what you got to do, to make an impact with your content. I did not want to do it, but I am going to do it. Okay. And what he taught from stage was this concept of not copy and paste, but copy with taste. Right? Isn't it so good? So good, Jon. I don't know where you got that, if you made that up or whatever, but it was fantastic. It says, when you copy and paste, you take from one source, you imitate what somebody's done before you, and then you take all the credit. That's what happens when you just do a direct copy and paste. But copy with taste looks a little bit different. And what that looks like is blending different ideas from many resources and then elevating the past. What has someone done before you that you can do better? And then sharing the credit. And so what he shared on stage, like I said, it totally blew my mind, but it was about Beyonce and how she has reused dance moves, choreography, graphics, effects, outfits, costumes. Like she has reused, repurposed so much of what she does on stage and in her music videos from previous artists. And I've heard the concept and I've read the book, Still Like an Artist. Like this is a famous, like fantastic book that I think all creators should read, but I've always been against it. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. It feels like stealing. It feels like it's not genuine. It's not authentic. But then I look at the people that have been doing this and how many of them have grown their channels, their podcasts, their email lists so much faster than I have by doing this one thing. They're doing it. They are copying with taste. And I called it copying and pasting all the time. It's like, oh, they're copying. They're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. And I'm like, I need to do this. I need to try this. So what you're going to see around here is a little blending of looking at viral content in a new light and how we can, manipulate what we're creating and what we're doing by taking things we've already learned and spinning it into something that's bigger, brighter, better for our own audiences. And we've adapted it to our personalities and just made it our own. So I'm excited about this. And I hope that you will stick around for the ride because I have a lot of ideas coming at you. I even have a virality meter, which we're going to talk about whenever we get into day 2, because Cody Sanchez is the queen of creating amazing content. And she spoke on day 2. And what she said also blew my mind. So stick around. You're going to have to come back for it. So that was day 1 of Craft and Commerce. We're going to make this a 2-parter because it's way too much. And I'm already almost at 30 minutes of just day 1. So I'm going to end this one here today, and we are going to come back for part 2 of Craft and Commerce 2024. But that's all I have for you today. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button wherever you're watching and listening. Follow the podcast, check out our YouTube channel, and make the ask. Like, if that's the only thing that you got today, make the ask, put yourself out there, and keep creating amazing content. But at the end of the day, what do I say that I want you to remember? Keep it up. We all have to start somewhere.